know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Friday, soggy Friday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks on a day that it looks like we're socked in with the rain all day. Galen Unall from Life South joins us as he does every morning, brought to you by the good folks at Just Ship, Penn Flooring, and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Galen, are you headed to Gainesville this morning?
No, I just decided that I'm not taking the trip today. I'm just going to work from home.
So you're just not no swimming in your future.
Well, you know, the bad part about Fridays is the traffic is already 10 times worse. And then you add in the rain and the Canadians are heading down. That's a trifecta that I just can't fathom. The Canadians alone make life very difficult for the rest of us on the road.
Well, their driving skills are second to none.
That's correct. There's
or lack thereof.
Yeah, and I like to think I've seen people drive all over the world. There's nothing that approaches the slow speed at which a Canadian can still mess you up. So, and do it respectfully. I mean, sorry. I mean, they do a great job of that. So. Yep, that's why I'm not the governor of Florida. I would just build a wall on our northern border.
You would.
And you'd have to show proof of that you're not a Canadian. Anybody else can come in, just you'd have to have proof that you're not a Canadian. And if you are, you have to vow that you're going to be sequestered, that you can only Uber, taxi, or other public transportation, that you're not allowed to drive your own vehicle.
Well, they're in a social.
And again, I think we could really solve some problems by doing that.
They're in a socialist country up there in Canada, so they probably are okay with public transportation.
Fine with it,
yeah.
Right? I mean, look, we're doing you a favor by, not allowing you to drive and messing up the world for the rest of us. And I would put and granted, I understand that may take some votes from the Congress, but I would, if there is one congressional or I don't know what the governor signs, decree or whatever, that if you are a Canadian driving in, you're not allowed to tow anything, right? Because you're just compounding an already pretty bad problem.
Certainly.
So that would go into that would be day one. I would encourage the FHP to harass, yes, I did use the word harass, all Canadian drivers, and tell them as they're pulling them over, find any reason to give them a ticket and say, look, the best thing for you to do is to not drive. And if you catch a Canadian citizen driving a car with an American plate, you triple the fines. I think that's only fair.
I think that's a good call.
I've thought a lot about this and I've solved it.
I think you have.
I think I've solved a lot of problems.
I think you have.
When I drove to Tifton yesterday. And, they're still coming south. So going north, no problems. Coming south, at one point, there were 4 Canadians in front of me. One in the left lane, one in the center lane, one in the right lane. And I think they were racing to see how slow they could go.
Well, I think the speed limit in Canada, is still 42 miles an hour.
Well, it's the kilometers thing. I think
that's
really
what confuses them. Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Nobody really understands the conversions.
No.
Right? It's a very difficult thing.
And by the way, the rest of the world is wrong with the metric system. We got it right with our system.
we understand it.
Right.
Remember the push for metrics?
Oh,
And
I do. I was
every child
in the 4th and 5th grade when they did the metrics push.
Oh, it was terrible.
They started it in like 1975 and tried to push it till the early 80s.
Well, they're like, no, you don't get it. It's a value of 10.
It's a base 10
like, yeah,
system.
but-
It's so easy. Okay, whatever.
But
So are 12
well,
inches.
What's an inch?
Yeah.
Right, that's correct. Well, wait, what's an inch? You
Three
grew up
three
knowing
centimeter,
what an inch
3
was.
centimeters.
Well, there you go. You're that guy.
Well, no, I just know that because 30 centimeters are on a ruler. That's the only reason I know. So if there's 12 inches on a ruler and there's 30, no, that's not even right. See, I don't even know now. I have no idea.
Good.
No
I'm glad
idea.
you're not right.
It's like 2 inches and it's like 2 centimeters. I don't know. I have no idea. No clue.
And again, I love Canadians. I do. They have a special place in my heart. I just don't think they should be able to drive. Is that saying so much?
No,
They can drive
I
in their
think
own
you're good.
country.
I think you're good. I think you're
They
good.
can drive in Georgia.
Hey.
There should be a park and ride right at the border, right, the first rest stop, where all the Canadians can park their cars.
As long as
And then we run buses.
we're taking shots at people. You know who Jamel Hill is, right?
Of course.
She was ESPN host that got fired because she wouldn't stop tweeting incendiary things that even ESPN and Disney thought were too much. What's that say when you get fired for being too far left by Disney and ESPN? Okay?
Well, she's arguably the number one race baiter
In the country. Not well.
in the country.
Her and Joy, the woman on MSNBC,
Joy Reid?
Yeah, Joy Reid.
Joy Reid gets paid to do that.
And by the way, have you ever seen those two together? It could be the same person. You don't know.
No,
You don't know.
I'm pretty sure they're
But
not. They don't.
you know that Winsome Sears, by the way, is my new favorite person. She is the the lieutenant governor elect of Virginia. She is a Jamaican immigrant, Marine, a U.S. Marine, and she's now the newly elected lieutenant governor. Well, Jamel Hill, not very impressed with this lady of color, who's the first lady and first person of color, lady of color, to win this seat in Virginia. Jamel Hill goes, "This isn't messaging, folks. The win by the Republicans, Glenn Youngkin and Winsome Sears. This is simply that people love white supremacy. The country loves white supremacy." Well, Winsome Sears, God love her, she clapped back at Jamel Hill back on Twitter. Because Jamel put that out on Twitter, She clapped back and said, "We beg to differ." That's all she wrote on her thing as she holds an AR-15 in her hands. Then she goes back and says, "I'm telling you what this is, Miss Hill. You're looking at the American dream." That she reiterated what she had said in her victory speech early Wednesday morning. Then she said in her victory speech, "When I joined the Marine Corps, I was still a Jamaican. But this country's done so much for me, I'm willing to die for this country." So, she's not taking it from Jamel Hill saying that it was white supremacy that elected the first black woman lieutenant governor of Virginia. I mean, how ignorant is Jamel Hill with that comment that white supremacy elected a black female from Jamaica?
I don't quite understand why people think that. And again, anybody who has served gets that, right? Because you realize and by the way, when you're in the military, they make it very clear from before you even sign up that look, man, your body doesn't really belong to you anymore. And that's why, like, I saw a couple of people in the military who are threatening to resign over COVID vaccine. Look, buddy, you have no choice. I'm sorry. You can say whatever you want to say, but you have no choice. They give you all kinds of inoculations and things that are done. It's not your option. Sorry. Move on.
And by the way, Winsome Sears, she's the first woman of color elected to lieutenant governor. But Jason Miyares, he's the first Hispanic ever attorney general elected in Virginia, and that happened right now too. So Virginia elects a white governor, which it was replacing a white governor, elects a black lieutenant governor, and a Hispanic attorney general, and it's all because of white supremacy.
Again, you can't explain it. I mean, if you want to find racism, you can find racism everywhere. It's just whether or not.
But the fact that, I mean, you put that's a Crayola box right there, and you're saying that that's white supremacy?
I can't understand. I can't.
Somebody asked me the other day, Tom, do you believe white supremacy in voting? And I go, well, here's the problem. You got to define white to me first. Because if you mean that there are more white people voting than there are any other ethnic group, well, yes, then there's white supremacy in voting because there are more Caucasians in this country than there are any other ethnic group. But do I believe that, card-toting Klansmen are in charge of the elections and that's the white supremacy, that skinheads and Nazis? No, that has nothing to do with it. But, people say, well, what do you mean the Caucasian race? They have supreme numbers because there are more Caucasians in this country than there are any other ethnic group. It's changing, but still predominantly Anglo-Saxon, European Caucasian derivatives are the most populated group in this country. That's a fact. We can't get away from that.
And I don't. It's the way it is. It's changing.
It is changing every day. Every day when people legally come into this country.
Correct. Yeah.
Changing every day when people illegally come into this country too.
Sure.
We need to take a break.
That's not one of those things I can understand. So.
We need to take a break. We'll come back more with Galen Unall after this timeout. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Here is exciting news from the College of Central Florida. On Tuesday the 9th at 8:35 a.m., Dr. Raffle Robinson from CF will be Tom's guest to tell us about enrollment for spring, the virtual application night, and open house. Be sure to tune in to learn how you can further your education in a field you love. Again, that's Tuesday the 9th at 8:35 for higher education happenings.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Come join us at the 40th Annual Downtown Festival and Art Show November 6th and 7th in beautiful downtown Gainesville for a weekend full of art, music, and culture. Explore a stunning collection of artwork by over 150 artists and marvel at world-class paintings, photography, sculpture, jewelry, and so much more. Enjoy entertainment on 4 stages, including a downtown blues concert on Friday night. And bring the kids for free art activities at the Children's Imagination Station. For more information, visit GainesvilleDowntownArtFest.org.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Friday. We're coming to you live from the studios of WOCA Radio, just off the runway at the Ocala International Airport, and the rain is coming down on this side of town. Galen, give us a weather report on your side of town. Rain, just like over
yeah,
here.
it's going to rain everywhere. Yeah, I don't think it's going to stop.
I do need to remind folks that the inaugural Nancy Reinhardt Endowment for Dementia Education golf tournament put on by Pinnacle Retirement Advisors that benefits Hospice of Marion County, that was scheduled for today at noon, has been rescheduled. It will now be January 14th, same time, Friday, January 14th at a 12 p.m. shotgun start. So that, if you were looking for that golf tournament today, and I know they had 25 teams in that tournament, it has been postponed until January 14th. First Friday Art Walk still a go right now, though. We're waiting to see if the city's going to say anything about that. But the First Friday Art Walk's go. And, hey, tell you this, Galen. If people are coming down to the First Friday Art Walk, Big Hammock Brewery, there's going to be an event there for benefiting Toys for Tots, sponsored by Just Shipped. And Susan will be there all evening, rain or shine, if not outside on the sidewalk for the First Friday Art Walk, inside a Big Hammock, collecting donations for Toys for Tots. And, that's a big deal in our community, Galen, the Toys for Tots drive to try to help the less fortunate. One or two gifts can make a kid's difference at Christmas.
Yeah, and we always try to sponsor a family. And Toys for Tots, however you're going to do it, the Marines do a phenomenal job of that. So, and as long as the Navy delivers the gifts, I think.
Isn't that what the Marine Corps collects them and then they give them to the Navy to deliver? Isn't that how that works?
I don't. I bet I'd get in trouble for making Marine jokes.
My dad used to say. My dad used to say the Navy. My dad used to say the Navy was the best delivery service ever.
Well, they are. I mean, yeah. I'm not making a Marine joke. I'm not. It's just not worth the hassle.
Well, my dad was a lifelong Corps of the Corps.
I understand, but Marines.
My dad and uncle used to go back and forth because my uncle was in the Navy and my dad was a Marine, and they would go back and forth with, "Yeah, you're the best taxi service in the world, and you stand guard on naval bases better than anybody I've ever seen." They would go back.
That's correct. See, I'm not. They're not going to bait me into it.
They would go back and forth at each other.
Telling you.
But the one thing one thing I do know is not only did they have a brothership bond because they were brothers, but their military bond. If anybody, they'd be arguing with each other in the bar, giving each other the business. But if anybody that wasn't of military ilk started in on anybody, Navy, Marine, Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, didn't matter. All of a sudden, you didn't even have to know the guy. My dad was like, he's a military veteran. We got his back, no matter what the service was.
Well, that's exactly right. That is a fact.
No matter what the service was.
You're not allowed to make fun of a Marine or a Navy guy unless you served, and I think that's what the lieutenant governor said. Basically, it's like
that's exactly what she said.
And again, and I think anybody who's served understands exactly what she's saying. I mean, that's a commitment you are willing to make. You're just basically saying, yeah, I'll die for this country. I'll die for the Constitution. I'll die for what I believe in.
She said,
Jamel Hill just doesn't understand that.
She said, when I joined the Marine Corps, her exact quote was, when I joined the Marine Corps, I was a Jamaican. But this country's done so much for me, I'm willing to die for this country. That says a lot.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
I don't know what else you can say. I mean, okay, top that, Jamel.
Yeah.
And talking about a country that has given someone everything. You look at Jamel Hill and what she has carved out by her race baiting.
First off, she grew up. She wants you to think that she's like this person of color that come from some. She grew up in a very affluent family in Orlando. She's had everything offered to her. She didn't, Jamel Hill wants you to think that she's part of the tough life. No, she went to Dr. Phillips. She grew up in a very good area of Orlando.
Sure.
Wayne Brady was one of her colleagues in high school. You know, they didn't live the toughest life over there at Dr. Phillips School of the Performing Arts. Okay, let's just clear that up.
No.
Let's clear that up.
And again, it's a shame that she has to make race everything, right? She just does. That's just who she is, and I find that shameful. It's just not something I can ever. And I haven't lived her life, but this country has offered her so many opportunities. And she just looks at it as if, no, not really.
No,
not really.
Not really. You all you white supremacists, I've had to fight for everything I've got because you white supremacists, the man tries to keep me down.
Sure, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's sad.
It really is. Speaking of sad, I don't know that this is sad, but I knew that this was going to happen. It looks like that Odell Beckham Jr.'s days in Cleveland, done. You know, he was critical of Baker Mayfield, and then his dad got involved, and then Baker Mayfield clapped back at Beckham's dad. Well, the Cleveland Browns are done. They're going to release David. Listen to me. They're going to release Odell Beckham, and they've clearly said, you're not bigger than the Cleveland Browns football organization or Baker Mayfield, who we're building around. So, you know, this was writing on the wall. Odell Beckham Jr. is one of those wide receivers that, you know, when did wide receivers become so important in their mind that they got to be prima donnas? When did this happen?
Michael Irvin.
Was that the first one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was the first.
So we blame Michael.
That's the first one that I remember. Well, yeah, and ask Michael Irvin. He'll tell you that it was him.
Yeah, but Michael Irvin will tell you. Michael Irvin will tell you he's like a Kid Rock song. It's not bragging blank if you can back blank up.
And he believes that.
He does believe that.
Yeah, I've asked him. I've interviewed him. I've talked to him about that very thing, and he will tell you. Yeah, that's exactly right.
But by the way, Michael Irvin backed it up most of the time.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, and Odell Beckham's a wannabe. But again, I don't. You have to have a certain kind of a swagger to play at that level. I get it, but it's look at Randy Moss. I mean, Randy Moss is arguably the most talented wide receiver of all time, and he could not just, and he'll tell you, he could not damage his own career.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the greatest quarterback of all time throwing to him.
Yes.
They set all kinds of records.
And he only stayed 1 year.
Yeah. And a year later, he's like, I just can't.
Then on the other end of that,
self-imploded.
But on the other end of that spectrum, we got about a minute before the break. On the other end of that spectrum, you have great wide receivers that never say a peep. Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson. They're just as good as the ones that they're arguably in the top 10 of receivers all time. Larry Fitzgerald and Calvin Johnson. Tell me one thing they ever said that was controversial.
Well, Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
Jerry
Rice. All he did, the greatest wide receiver ever, all he did was play the game. Kept his mouth shut and played the game.
That's absolutely correct. And again, I really believe people have a right to say whatever the heck they want to say. But if you're within a team system, you need to understand that what you say, especially to your quarterback, is kind of important.
Kind of important, especially when the quarterback's the face of the franchise. Especially when he's the face of the franchise. Speaking of a quarterback that's the face of the franchise, when we get back, a guy that you love, I know you love him, he's in hot water again, and Bob Costas, he's not happy with him either. We'll talk about that next. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Nearly 100 congressional Republicans demanded Thursday that the Department of Homeland Security detail its plans for dealing with a new caravan of migrants making its way through southern Mexico at this hour. In a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, it's being reported that the lawmakers were deeply concerned about the situation and warned that border agents are already overworked, undermanned, and undersupplied as a result of Biden's open border policy. In the past year alone, U.S. Border Patrol has recorded nearly 1.7 million migrant apprehensions at the southern border. Democrats in the House appear to be on the verge of advancing President Biden's $1.85 trillion partisan social spending bill and the bipartisan $1 trillion infrastructure bill if they can push it to a vote. Democrat Speaker Nancy Pelosi noted Thursday that the overall partisan package will be fully paid for. USA Radio News.
You've heard that supply lines are down or moving slow. And that most everything costs more these days. But good news! High-quality Sunny Bay products are in stock and ready to ship now because they're made in the USA. Like our extra-long neck heating pads. They provide soothing relief to painful sore necks and backs, are microwavable, and come in a variety of colors and patterns. What a great gift! An extra-long neck heating pad from Sunny Bay. Also available in lavender scented. Buy now in time for the holidays and avoid any shipping delays. Available on Amazon, Walmart, Etsy, and sunny-bay.com. Just search for Sunny Bay Heating Pad. They're great for men or women, are reusable and easy to clean. So this year, give the gift of pain relief. An extra long neck wrap from Sunny Bay. Remember, just search for Sunny Bay Heating Pads. Order now when our stock is high and shipping is fast. And happy holidays from Sunny Bay.
On the first and third Wednesday mornings each month at 9:05 a.m., Robert Colin with On Top of the World will be our guest as we learn all about the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at Ocala's premier adult active community, On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will bring guests.